Good afternoon, and thank you, Indivisible, for having me here today. My name is Susan Rosas, CEO with YWCA Kalamazoo. Our mission is to eliminate racism and empower women. And while I cannot speak for the nonprofit sector at large, I can say with certainty that nonprofits and the people we serve are currently under attack. Since January 2025, under the Trump administration, the Kalamazoo community has lost $51 million in federal social service funding almost overnight. The cuts have been sweeping: lost housing, lost food security, lost education programs, lost victim services, lost treatment, lost cultural programs, lost legal services for those who need it most. The list goes on. Our federal government claims that these cuts represent the elimination of waste, fraud, and abuse. Just as our communities are losing essential services once funded by the federal government, as local need is rapidly worsening, last week the Michigan House Republicans proposed to further strip Michiganders of social services to the tune of $6 billion additional dollars. That's billion with a B, again in the name of eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. I will tell you what's abusive. Federal and state house requirements that command nonprofits to cause irreparable harm to our queer community members by denying their identities. That is abuse. Federal and state house requirements that prohibit nonprofits from serving immigrant families, that mandate our cooperation with their wildly unjust persecution. That is abuse. Federal and state prohibitions on nonprofits from pursuing equity, fairness, belonging for people of identities whose oppression has defined this country's oppression for hundreds of years. That is abuse. Waste, fraud, and abuse. I will tell you what is fraudulent. Executive orders titled Ending Illegal Discrimination that revoke 50 years of civil rights progress. That's fraudulent. EOs titled Defending Women that explicitly persecute trans women. That is abuse. That is fraudulent. EOs titled Restoring Truth and Sanity to American History that scrub national record of our country's centuries-long violent subjugation of Black and Indigenous people. That is fraudulent. Our state house representatives creating a new appropriations process claiming the highest degree of transparency while silently denying organizations like the YWCA the opportunity to participate in this process on ideological lines. All of that is more fraudulent than anything we've seen in the nonprofit sector. Waste, fraud, and abuse. The $6 billion in budget cuts proposed by the Michigan House Republicans have taken a wrecking ball to every Michigan community's social safety net, including Kalamazoo. So let's talk about waste. Among the House's proposed cuts, victim services. The House's proposed budget would result in a 25% statewide reduction in life-saving emergency services for people fleeing their abusers, precisely at the time that the lethality of violence is at an all-time high, thanks to firearms. Our YWCA would see an additional $2.5 million victim service reduction in this current budget draft. The cuts eliminate the Office of Community Violence, and they decimate violence prevention funds. The woman who in the depth of night hears every creak of the floorboards as she tiptoes to scoop her baby out of the crib, who escapes out the back door to an Uber blocks away so that her abuser does not wake, who arrives at the door of the emergency shelter carrying nothing but her child, frantically looking over her shoulder, desperate to come inside to safety. The woman who, under these House cuts, would be denied entry because the shelter is at capacity and there are no staff to let her in. Her survival, her baby's survival, is not waste. Our lives are not waste. Say it after me. Our lives are not waste. One more time, our lives are not waste. Also among the cuts, maternal and child health. The proposed House budget would fully defund RX Kids, our community's cash assistance program for pregnant and newly parenting families. The cuts remove hospital-based group prenatal programs, funds for birth clinics, perinatal quality programs, car seat access for families with newborns, reproductive health access grants, diaper assistance, community health programs. Our YWCA would see an additional $1.5 million in maternal child health budget cuts in this proposed budget. The family whose very joy is a darling baby with a sense of humor, a love for Cheerios, and who has the squishiest little legs. The family who laughs when their baby eats lemon for the first time, or who buys 10 of the same pacifier because that is the only one the baby will take. Who under these new House cuts will return their 2T clothing with the tag still on because their baby didn't survive to see their first birthday. That baby's survival is not waste. Say it after me, our lives are not waste.
Our lives are not waste.
One more time, our lives are not waste.
Our lives are not waste.
Also among the cuts, housing. The proposed House budgets for, cuts funds for permanent supportive housing, water affordability, energy assistance for low-income families, rental assistance. Our state Senate Democrats tried to buffer dramatic federal cuts from HUD by adding state funds to cover people left unhoused by these federal changes. Our state House Republicans removed those funds. Their actions say let them freeze, but our lives are not waste. The list goes on. The House's proposed budget cuts would impact all of us. They remove services for students with disabilities, apprenticeship and workforce development programs, meals for older adults, community development programs, even ventilation funding for nursing homes. As our community's suffering is poised to spiral, so too is our nonprofit sector's ability to help. These cuts are not designed to stop waste, fraud, and abuse. They simply reduce critical funds with no additional infrastructure that would actually support efforts to find and address actual waste, fraud, and abuse. And these funds are yours. They are your tax dollars at work spent by the people you put in office. You have the power to change this trajectory, to save the mother fleeing with her baby, to save the little girl who could live to see her first birthday, and the countless other families who will survive with your advocacy. So use that voice. Contact your state representatives, especially in the House, especially this week, and tell them you want to see funds put back in the budget for life-saving services, that it costs $75 million to keep statewide victim services whole, not $26 million. 75 saves lives. That we demand the removal of new hateful budget language that persecutes our queer, immigrant, and Black community members. That our lives are not waste. Say it one more time. Our lives are not waste. Right now, YWCA Kalamazoo needs you like so many nonprofits need you because our community needs us. If you have the capacity to give, give. If you have the capacity to volunteer, volunteer. Join our email list, come to our events, come to events just like this one. Answer the calls to action and tell your representatives what you want to see. Like right now, this is a call to action. Call them. And my goodness, when it comes time to vote, vote for the representatives who believe that your life is not a waste. Thank you.